what is Filipino cultural identity? Part of that will have to be the past. That's why we focus on native forms and their meaning to us as Filipinos today. So Sarsuwela was one of those that really became a rallying point.
Maging magiting sa laban ng buhay. Maging magiting, kaya mong piliin ang kabayanihan araw-araw. Sa isip, salita at gawa, tayo ay maging magiting.
One important thing to remember is that history, one, isn't static. History is constantly ongoing. And that's the same for theater, that's the same for the arts and culture.
The zarzuela, first of all, is a play in prose with music and dance very often. And it revolves around usually a love story, but it brings in a lot of topical issues or social issues of the day. Right? The zarzuela itself, the form, came from Spain. So it was brought here around 1879 or 1880 by Spanish zarzuela performers who came and presented the very first zarzuela in the Philippines, which is Hogar con Fuego, which is Spanish zarzuela. But starting 1890, the zarzuela was indigenized because Filipino playwrights began to write using that form. Right? So the first Tagalog zarzuela, I think, is Budhing Nagpahamak in 1890. Then, from 1902, 1902 was a very important date in Manila because that was the date when Walang Sugat was presented. And with Walang Sugat, the zarzuela was established as a theatrical form. It drove away from the stage the dominant form then, which was the comedia. So the zarzuela was embraced by a lot of people and became very prominent and popular with the people from 1902 to about 1930. However, when film began to have sound in 1933, they went into the new medium. So the most important form, actually, genre of the cinema at the time were the zarzuela films. So now they were not on stage anymore, they migrated to the screen and became the most popular form on screen before the war. Right? Then, after the war, the taste for the musical continued in film, but basically, the zarzuela really had a decline already. After the 70s, it really stopped. It disappeared. And then it was on stage. It was revived sometime in the 1970s. And then what followed was actually a revival of the zarzuela. And this was because of the rise of nationalism in the 70s. There was an interest, in the old forms because Filipinos were looking for their identity. So the zarzuela was revived. And Walang Sugat was again the important zarzuela that jump-started the whole revival.
We directed Walang Sugat, and it was a hit. Many people loved it. The importance is several things. One, memory. Theater, by staging this, brings you back to a time, a historical time, where the musical was the mass entertainment of the people. But more important, I think, Walang Sugat and other forms of theater connects you to a historical experience of your country.
Theater is something that inspires dialogue. We get to relive for a brief moment what it was like to live in that world. It's a great way to inspire dialogue and discussion and really push for critical consciousness.
It is also a tool for education. It's also a tool for building confidence about, it's sort of magiting, or being proud of your country, being proud and attached to the issues of your nation. Art and the theater is a way of helping people imagine yourself as part of the nation, as part of a bigger group. All right, the Sarsuwela was performed in Ilocos, in Iloilo, in Pampanga, in Bulacan, in Manila, in many places. So when you do a Sarsuwela, you are connecting really to the memories of people in those provinces who have seen and who are affected or have been influenced by that art form.
The zarzuela is an important piece of heritage, no? That Filipinos today should really take seriously and use. I mean, you know, nandiyan yung mga zarzuelang matatanda na dapat nating revive because many of them, ang themes nila are still relevant. But more importantly, we should use that musical tradition to grapple with contemporary issues. The more you use the form, the richer it becomes. And the more it becomes a very viable vehicle for the expression of our national identity.
Maging magiting, maging makapilipino sa diwa at gawa.
Maging magiting, maging malikhain.
Maging magiting, maging marangal.
Maging magiting sa laban ng buhay. Maging magiting, kaya mong piliin ang kabayanihan araw-araw. Sa isip, salita at gawa, tayo ay maging magiting.